Welcome to my humble abode. I'm Yorkie the Talespinner. This, the Chihuahua, doesn't always come on camera. And this, Tales Over Coffee, our morning show, where we start the day together with a cup of coffee and a narrative tale in the hope we can welcome a blessed day. TikTok, just don't start chewing wires and pounding on my keyboard. This is Suzerain, starting the rise and hopeful maintenance of power by Anton Rain in Sordland. Let's resume. Chapter 1, President Rain. We've done the news. Let's TikTok, you're chewing on my wires. Can't chew on wires, you know. Right. Don't think there's anything around to do. No. So let's go here. Capital. Invest in Arcasian Stocks Company. A personal investment opportunity has been relayed by Mr. Manger, an experienced stockbroker in Ventry City. Arcasia, TikTok, go behind. You're being a bad boy. Good boy. Arcasia is selling valuable shares of Armadine Industries, an up-and-coming electronics manufacturing company. We could invest or let the opportunity pass. We'll buy 1,000 shares. Reception at inaugural ball. Time to go hold our balls. I had just finished buttoning up my suit jacket when the doorbell rang. The presidential guard had arrived to pick us up for the inaugural ball. The ball was a 3-decade-old tradition, restlessly anticipated by the politicians, bureaucrats, and the press. All eyes were about to be on me. I called on Monica. Get the children ready. Looking in the mirror, I straightened my tie and took a deep breath. After tonight, there would be no turning back. Why don't we check out our wife? Monica Rain is the current First Lady of Sordland. She was born in Lockhaven. Parents with Agno-Swordish background. She has a degree in sociology and has worked as a social worker, and later as a partnerships manager of Magnus Carter's and campaign assistant to the Swordish League of Women before her marriage to Anton Rain. Suddenly Diana hugged me from behind, startling me a little. Monica had fixed her hair into an elaborate braid, woven through with ribbons. There she is, our daughter. Diana Rain is the daughter of Anton Rain and Monica Rain. She is attending elementary school in Hallsword. In a brief interview, Monica Rain said that she was named after her grandmother, who came in the 1860s to Sordland from Magnolia, with hopes to start a new life. Papa, said Diana, Mama told me it's time to go. Hello, darling, I'm ready. Where's your brother? I think Frank is still upstairs. Our second child, Frank, is the son of Anton Rain and Monica Rain. He's currently studying at the Hallsword Markian High School. He shrugged. It was almost time to leave. The big ball was about to start in less than an hour. Now, where's my First Lady? Monica came down the stairs. She was wearing a simple yet elegant beige sheath dress and short heels. Her hair had been neatly pinned into a chignon, showing off the pearl earrings I had given her for her 15th anniversary. All those years she had stayed by my side. Now we were about to begin the most challenging chapter in our lives yet. How do you do, Mr. President? Embrace her. Monica, my love, look as gorgeous as the day we married. Now there's that charm that got you elected. Frank trudged down the stairs. This thing itches. Yes, well, Frank, deal with it. Frank tugged at the collar of his new tuxedo. He seemed ill at ease. Glad to have you with us for the big night. Go, Dad, I'm just dying to go. Papa, are these people going to be around us from now on? Pointed at the presidential guards at the door of the house. Yes, Sordland's the most important family needs extra protection. All right, baby. They're here to make sure nothing bad happens to your papa or his family. Monica held Diana's hand. Together, flanked by the guards, we walked out of the door. Halfway to the car, Frank stopped abruptly and turned towards me. Dad, do I really have to go? Couldn't I stay home instead? Nervous myself, Frank, but I'd feel a lot more confident with my son by my side. Be a little encouraging. Frank smiled reluctantly. Well, when you put it like that, sure, let's go. The Presidential Guard showed us the way as red and blue lights flashed around us. Serge, my driver, ushered us into the armoured limousine. The motorcade started moving toward the palace. I gazed out of the window, deep in thought. Anton, what are you thinking about? Said Monica. I think we've come a long way together, haven't we? Yes, we have, and there's still so much that we'll accomplish side by side. Just remember, no matter what happens, the children and I will always be here for you. I'm going to help Papa fix everything, said Diana. Frank rolled his eyes. I know you will, honey. This means a great deal to me. After what seemed like just a few minutes, the convoy slowed to a halt. Serge rolled down the limousine's soundproof partition. We are here, sir. Hope you enjoyed the drive. Much appreciated, and how are you today? I'm just as good as I can be, but today is your day, sir. I'm glad you're in charge now. You know, my entire family voted for you. Thank you and your family. I'm here with all of your support. No reason to thank me, sir. You are the one who sparked a glimmer of hope in us all. Serge opened the door for me. The normally imposing palace was festooned with garish banners, but nearly made it look cheerful. A line of shiny luxury sedans stretched around it. Politicians, bureaucrats and celebrities, the creme de la creme of the Sordland elite, streamed inside the building. Good luck out there, Mr. President. I'll see you on the trip home. I stepped out and immediately found myself surrounded by loud voices and camera flashes. Hordes of eager journalists thrust their portable microphones my way. My guards fended most of them off, but one woman managed to dodge them and corner me. I recognised the Swedish Broadcasting Company logo on her press lanyard. Mr. President, do you plan on working together with the opposition parties on the expected constitutional reforms? Thanks for celebration. I'm not going to talk about policies. If the opposition is willing to support us. Mr. Richter clarified that as long as you support their demands of democratization, they will work with you on all issues with a cooperative spirit. What do you think about this statement? I can't comment since I haven't seen his statement yet, and no comment is usually good. One more question. One of your first acts as president was to sign a campaign finance law, allocating public election funds by seats in the assembly as opposed to number of votes. This is a deliberate attempt to defund the Communist Party and the Bloody Workers' Party, neither of which have reached the election threshold. It's to ensure the USP has the funds we need to stay in power long enough to truly bring democracy to this country. Sounds good. That's enough, ma'am, said one of my guards while nudging the reporter away from me. A path through the crowd was now open, and we quickly made our way to the entrance of the palace. At the same time, a dozen fireworks went off. The entrance was decorated with beautiful ribbons in Sordland's colours of white, yellow and maroon. A lush maroon carpet had been rolled down the stairs. We entered the lobby and joined the throngs of people making their way toward the ballroom. Behind me I heard a familiar voice. There they are, the most beautiful family in Sordland, said Peter Victim. Uncle Peter! Hi, Uncle Peter, it's great to see you. You two are growing up faster than I am getting wiser. Are you sure you've gotten any wiser, Peter? No. A sight for sore eyes, Peter. Likewise, happy to see a familiar face, Peter said Level. Let me take a run at that. I don't think my mouth's working yet. Happy to see a familiar face, Peter, Evelyn. Petra's wife, Evelyn, approached us and took our hands with firmness that belied her delicate features. Congratulations, Anton. I have to say, the results were clear to me from the beginning. Thank you. We both worked hard to make it happen. We know you did. You deserve the position. And tonight, we reap the rewards. Exactly. That's why we are all here. We could start by getting some drinks. Petra grinned and beckoned a roving waiter. The four of us each took a glass of champagne. Monica, how are you? You've barely said a word. I'm more than relieved to have this roller coaster ride over with. Of course, now the real work begins. Ah, yes, said Evelyn. Managing the help, planning the parties, daily trips to the salon to look your best for the foreign dignitaries. Don't be so old-fashioned, Evelyn, said Monica. I plan to use my power as First Lady to advance the position of women throughout Sordland. Equal rights for our sex are long overdue, wouldn't you say, Anton? As long as you don't burn the door. Oh, that will have me sleeping on the couch for a few nights. Up to a point, yes, they mustn't neglect their responsibilities to their husbands. Absolutely, yes. I do favour equality of gender and race. And other things too. Monica flashed me a smile. Diana suddenly jumped in between us and tugged on my sleeve. Papa, can we go? I want to see the ballroom. Yes, it's time. Let's go. Move to the ballroom. We left the lobby and made our way towards the ballroom. Inside, we were yet again surrounded by a noisy crowd. But this time it was the politicians who sought to appease the new authority in Sordland. I spent the next few hours shaking hands, joining various conversations. Some serious, some superficial, and making speeches. We finally settled down at dinner table with the Vectorns as the band started playing some slow jazz tunes. Oof, that was tiring. Now we have to get used to it. Well, suddenly a loud banging noise echoed from outside the ballroom, then another and another. The musicians stopped playing. Everyone in the room was looking around in confusion. Petra and I turned towards each other, realization dawning on both our faces. Fireworks? No, gunshots. As soon as Monica heard the word, she lunged from her seat. Shield Monica and the kids. I threw myself on Monica and Diana and Frank to shield them. Papa, what's happening? I knew it. We never should have gone. Chaos broke out as some guests flung themselves under the tables, and others ran toward the door, screaming. Diana burst into tears while Frank tried to comfort her, hiding the fear in his own eyes. 3 more gunshots rang out loudly. Mr. President, are you all right? Carl Gazer, head of the Swordish police force, was running towards us, with 3 more police officers in decorated uniforms. They all had their guns drawn. As soon as he made it to us and saw that we were unharmed, he let out a big sigh of relief. Thank God. Status report now. 1 second, Mr. President. He turned around quickly to his men. Take the perimeter now. Paul, Jansen, follow my lead. We'll bring them to the safe room. He now turned to Monica, Evelyn, and the children and spoke in a softer voice. Not worry, the situation is now under control. Please follow me. We promptly followed Carl through the winding halls and corridors of the palace. His men still had their guns drawn, which did nothing to ease the tension. On the way, Petra made an attempt to break the silence. What a f***ing night. Not over yet. Carl turned to us with a serious face and was about to round a corner. Quiet, please. Sorry, I talk when I do it nervous. He said, shut up. Petra, shut up. Well said, Evelyn. Carl flipped a switch on the wall and a panel opened, revealing a hidden staircase leading to a large reinforced door. Inside, a set of emergency lights flickered on. The safe room was comfortable and spacious, with expensive-looking leather sofas. Small security monitors on the wall displayed grainy footage of each room in the palace. There was a boardroom and a pantry containing enough provisions to last us months. Monica and Evelyn sat the children down, started wiping their tears. Carl stepped away from us and made a few radio calls. When he was done, he turned to me and Petra. What's the status? Carl's radio suddenly crackled with life. Every second felt like an eternity as he pressed his ear to the receiver. When it fell silent, he turned to us. Good news, we are not in any danger at the moment. The situation has been dealt with and the perimeter has been secured by the guards and the police. He glanced towards Monica, Evelyn and the kids. If I may, sir. He gestured towards a more private corner of the room, started speaking more quietly. This is what we know so far. We have confirmed that 2 people were gunned down in front of the palace. The attacker is one of them, and we have reason to believe he was working alone. He fired 3 shots at an MP. 1 to the head, 2 to the body, instantly killing him. Presidential guards at the palace immediately shot and killed the attacker. He has not been identified yet and will require absolutely you better investigate. The MP that was killed, identified as Bernard Circus. Who is what? Swedish poet, novelist, short story writer and politician. He is acclaimed for his lyrical flow, regarded to be the leader of the Swedish avant-garde. His early writings were heavily influenced by the social, cultural, economic problems of his home city of Dea. His work earned him the description of a romantic communist. He joined the Red Youth during the Swedish Civil War and fled Sordland after the war was over, surviving the purge of Tarquin Sol. He moved to the United Cortana and studied sociology at the Communist University of Kiev. There, he was influenced by the artistic experiments of Cortanan poets who advocated futurism, as well as the ideological vision of Melinev. Many of his works are regarded as the greatest achievements of the Swedish literature and earned him many awards abroad. Because of his political views, his works have been banned in Sordland since 1930. In 1950, Bernard returned to Sordland following the departure of Tarquin Sol. He organised strikes against Swedish government failures to include amnesty laws and started to become a popular figure in Swedish politics. He ran as an independent in the 1953 election and became the first communist to be elected to the Grand National Assembly of Sordland. Well, not necessarily a friend of ours, but that is something that cannot be condoned. This is huge, Anton. This will cause lots of problems. A lot of problems. Hector pulled out 2 cigarettes and handed me one. He then turned to Evelyn. I could hear him trying to reassure her that everything was going to be alright. Monica was still trying to center Diana and Frank, as Frank paced the room, mumbling that he should have stayed home. Comfort them. I sat down beside my wife and children. I say comfort them because there is a lot to do here. We need to find out who he is. That can't exactly be done right now, can it? More important, help wife and child. Or children. I sat down beside my wife and children. They are safe. I'll make sure everything's going to be fine. Can't be sure of anything anymore, Anton. I lit my cigarette and took a drag. I was going to see this through and keep my family safe. At all costs, absolutely. I crushed the cigarette on the ashtray. Well, 3 news reports, all from Sordland today. Rain open to talk. President Rain signalled possible cooperation with French Richter of the PFJP ahead with the inaugural ball, regarding the remarks of Richter about a possible cooperation to fix the current problems of Swedish. The President chose to make no comment. Richter has long been vocal about his democratization plans. Maybe his demands for constitutional change might finally become a reality. President Rain leads a bill together with Richter's PFJP. Rain says bill was necessary for democracy. One of the President's first acts in office was sign a campaign finance allocating public election funds by number of assembly seats, as opposed to the percentage of votes won in general election. In an interview ahead of his inauguration ball, Rain claimed his decision, which would effectively double the election budget for his own party, was necessary in order for the USB to truly bring democracy. MP shot. Nation in shock. Sordland has been shocked by grave news today, as an elected member of the Parliament has been shot dead in suspected political assassination. Police sirens were heard around the clock today as Hullsford Police Force increased security measures around the capital. The fact that such a violent act happening at the heart of the capital during the new president's inauguration celebrations has worried many citizens. The Red Youth has reported to have promised revenge. This sounds like it has the potential to be a spark that whirl Sordland into political violence in the 1920s. Yes, it may well do. I want to know who's behind him. Report from Household security increased. Security mentioned that the capital had been heightened after the murder of Bernard Circus. The mayor of Household reports that everything is under control. Security around the Maroon Palace is increased with the combined efforts of the Household Police Department and the Presidential Guard. Additionally, the entrance procedures to the palace are being revised with advice from security professionals. The police chief, Carl Grazer, reported that an investigation has been launched on the murder of Bernard Circus. Emergency meeting situation room, Maroon Palace. The mood in the situation room was gloomy. Of course it was. My cabinet members were gathered to discuss the shooting outside the palace. Lilius presented an initial report. Bernard Circus was shot dead at 9:03 p.m. in front of the palace gates. He was an elected independent member of the assembly and, as you know, a famous communist. He spat the last word with some distaste. The guards at the scene were 50 meters away and immediately took action by responding and killing the assailants. The assailant was identified as a member of the nationalist organisation Young Swords. The president and his family were unharmed, praise God. An MP shot near the palace is absolutely unacceptable. I agree, we are reevaluating our security measures. However, the recession has affected my ministry negatively. This sets a dangerous atmosphere where left versus right political violence of the 1920s might spark once again, said Lucian. A return to those days would be devastating, said Peter. The coups are the reason why our country is stagnated for over a decade. Near Morgana, the Minister of Justice sighed. The Red Youth has condemned the killing, but didn't stop there. They promised revenge. This will in turn spark further aggression from the Young Swords. The whole cycle starts because Bernard Circus expressed his views. We can't simply look away. Nia had always been one of the only members of the Justice Ministry truly deserving her name. She had survived countless attacks on her character, while fighting corruption within the ministry and rising to power had only compounded her sense of moral duty. Freedom of expression is part of our constitution. We can't have anyone, let alone an MP, shot for voicing different opinions. I fully agree we should protect freedom of speech. The millennialist ideology that the Red Youth promotes poses a threat to our country too. We should be cautious. The Nationalist Young Swords have overstepped and they should be put under the loop for such extreme action. I can't yet blame the whole Young Swords. It should be investigated. Our laws do, and for a good reason. Silencing voices only results in fear and stagnation inside society. We had that before, and we know very well how it was. I hear your concerns. Our police do their best to uphold their rights to our citizens, said Lilius. We will prevent such an act from happening again by making sure our security measures are re-evaluated. Minister of Defence, Josef Lancia, grunted in approval. He towered over the rest of us in full military uniform, and he wore medals conspicuously on display. Agreed, ma'am. Our gendarmerie will also help boost security in the rural areas where possible. There might be more to come. We should refrain from making the issue a political one from the start, said Lucian. It will only add fuel to the fire. It is political though, isn't it? Yes, but we need to calm the country. If we take sides, we could escalate the situation further. There aren't many sides, said Yusuf. The state versus its enemies. Several police cars rushed past the Maroon Palace, and everyone went silent. Regardless, a full investigation on all involved parties is underway. Good, said Lilius. We will find the subversaries and punish them as soon enough, Mr. President. I will do my best to help coordinate the administrative tasks, said Petter. Justice will be served, and the rule of law will return to this country stronger than ever. Only if we stay vigilant as a country, said Joseph. We must think about the upcoming budget. I agree, internal stability must be maintained, and security funding might need to be increased. I'm sure the Minister of Interior has already taken the necessary precautions, said Lucian. You can be assured that our police units and intelligence units are on increased threat condition. Nobody should be able to move a finger against the government officials. Lucian took some notes after checking the latest newspapers and reports. It seems that tensions between the communists and nationalists will escalate further. It will be very difficult to pass any meaningful change if there's chaos in the country. We can't fix the recession if there isn't stability. This is why I said power within a good few. Thanks. You are right, said Pector. We need to trust our ministers and stabilise the situation if it comes to it. This will be it for today then. We will convene again soon. Thank you all and keep us updated. The meeting concluded and the ministers left the room with concerned looks. It's hard to anticipate what might happen next. One news report from Lockhaven Times. Breaking news: Bernard Circas, a prominent independent MP known for his communist romanticism, has been murdered, leaving the Maroon Palace guards after the inauguration ball of Anton Rain. Reports indicate a politically motivated assault by far-right nationalists of the Young Swords. Shocking photographs have been leaked to the press, showing blood-dripped stairs of the Maroon Palace. We heavily condemn this sort of political violence. This is a very cycle the president must break with reforms. Yes. That is one of them, in addition to everything else going on. Well, that where we'll end it for today and continue the next turn next time. Nobody attempts to assassinate me and my wife and children, nor risk our death with an alternative assassination. We shall have to see where this leads. I've been Yorkie the Talespinner. You've been a good audience. Hit the like and subscribe and comment, and I'd appreciate it very well.